You can still remember the PIN code from a phone you lost 5 years ago, but you cannot remember what you ate for breakfast yesterday. That's not a memory problem. That's a clue. In the 1970s, a researcher named Duncan Godden ran an experiment underwater. Literally underwater. He asked deep-sea divers to memorize a list of 40 words. Half memorized the list on dry land. Half memorized it 10 feet below the surface. Then he tested both groups twice, once on land, once back underwater. Divers who learned the list underwater recalled far more words underwater than on land. The exact same divers, on land, forgot nearly half of what they'd just learned. Same brain, same words, same person, minutes apart. The only thing that changed was the environment they were standing in when they learned it. Godden called it context-dependent memory. Your brain doesn't file a memory alone. It quietly staples the room, the smell, even the temperature to it. Which is why walking back into your childhood kitchen can flood you with things you hadn't thought about in decades. The kitchen wasn't just a room, it was the filing cabinet. But rooms and smells were just the beginning of the discovery. Because it turns out your internal state gets stapled to memories too. In 1969, another study gave one group of participants alcohol before they memorized a list of words. A separate group memorized the same list completely sober. Later, both groups retested again, some sober, some given alcohol again. People who learned the list drunk remembered it best while drunk again. The same people, once sober, struggled to pull up the exact same information. Your mind wasn't just recording the words, it was recording the entire internal weather at the time. Which means sober you and drunk you are in a very real sense running two separate filing systems, and alcohol is just the obvious example. Mood does the exact same thing. Ask someone to recall memories while they're anxious. They pull up other anxious memories far more easily than calm ones. Ask them again while they're calm, and an entirely different set surfaces instead. Not because the memories disappeared, because the key that unlocks them only works in a matching emotional lock. This is why an argument at 11 p.m. can suddenly drag up every other argument you've ever had. You're not overreacting to tonight. Tonight's mood just unlocked a filing cabinet full of matching nights. And it's why the happiest version of you can barely recall the worst week of your life in detail. The lock and the key were never in the same room. So here's the part that should genuinely reframe how you think about your own past. The version of your life you can currently remember isn't the whole story. It's whatever matches your current mood, your current room, your current state. Change any one of those, and a completely different version of your past becomes available. Which explains something that used to feel like a contradiction. How you can feel certain your childhood was happy, and also certain it was hard, depending on the day you ask yourself. Both are real. Neither is the full picture. You're just standing in a different room of the same house. This isn't only happening to your own memory. It's being used quietly by systems around you. Advertisers know that memories formed in a good mood are stickier, easier to recall later in that same good mood. Which is why certain products only ever show up to you when you're relaxed, entertained, already smiling. They're not just selling you a product, they're building a memory they know will resurface next time you're happy. Therapists have started using this deliberately too, in the opposite direction, helping people revisit difficult memories in a state of safety. So the memory gets refiled under calm instead of danger. Not erasing what happened, changing which lock the memory answers to. Which means memory was never just about the past. It's about which version of you happens to be standing in the room asking. So the next time you swear you can't remember something, before you call it a bad memory, ask a different question first. What room am I in right now? What mood am I standing in? Because the information you're looking for might not be gone. It might just be filed under a version of you that isn't currently in the room. Which means changing your state might do more than changing your effort ever could. Go back to the room, recreate the mood, hum the song that was playing. Sometimes the fastest way back to a memory isn't trying harder. It's becoming, just for a moment, the person who was there when it happened. So the next locked door in your memory isn't necessarily missing a key. You might just be standing in the wrong room to open it.